Critical issues faced by faculty when an institution adopts a new LMS. When an institution of higher education decides to adopt a new learning management system, there are numerous faculty concerns. These integrated computer systems, known as LMS, have a profound effect on university instruction and learning, as Coates, James, and Baldwin, 2005 says. An LMS is an online tool used to implement, design, and measure specific learning processes. Therefore, these systems help instructors construct and produce course subject matter, observe student growth, and evaluate the accomplishments of their students. E-learning describes a technology-rich learning environment. To understand why teachers accept or reject e-learning, one must understand why teachers accept or reject technology. The current research will relate to technology adoption. Faculty demographics such as personal, academic, and technographic factors will be examined in order to see how these factors correlate in relation to their concerns. Research that is even more limited has been found when looking at a combination of these relationships, when demographic variables are used to investigate the relationship of how higher education instructors' concerns are intentionally addressed. Signer, Hall, and Upton, as well as Todd, states. The next slide, we see the top 5 challenges this year that are priorities for faculty to solve in their courses. Increasing student engagement, 50%, based on all of these who responded to this survey. Identifying high quality instructional materials aligned with learning. Adjusting content, etc., increasing student collaboration, and providing timely feedback to our students. Very important. The purpose of this study will be to examine the challenges faculty incur during the transition from one LMS to a new innovation or a new LMS. This researcher will be using the Stages of Concern questionnaire, which you'll hear SOQ or you'll read SOQ quite often, based on the Concerns-Based Action Model, or the CBAM, as a tool to pull together this data. And the CBAM has proven to be a helpful instrument for discovering challenges and concerns on faculty undergoing these various innovation changes. What are the demographics of faculty involved in the transition of an innovation change? What would the implications be if this were not a small university or not part of a larger system? What is the most intense concern as assessed by the 7 core concerns, as you see here, and you can see in your paper, your handout that I've given you, with the stages of concern that impacts faculty involved in the transition of an innovation change from e-college, in this case from e-college to Desire to Learn. So where do these concerns originate? I didn't make them show up, so how have they been used in the past? Or some things that I can answer. Are there statistically significant differences with relation to the independent variables of background demographic descriptions, as you see there, after at least the first full academic year? What independent variables of background demographic descriptions of faculty are predictive of the dependent variable of faculty's most intense concern? And these demographics were just some that I chose as I was doing my study based on what I felt would be most pertinent. The significance of the study: among all U.S. higher education institutions, in the fall of 2002, there were 11% of all students took at least one course online. Over a third of these students, in particular, took all of their classes virtually. Today, 33% of college students are taking at least one course online, according to Babson Survey Research Group. Schools and employers are recognizing that online courses can be just as effective, and sometimes even more effective, than classroom courses. To defend faculty by purchasing such expensive learning systems, institutions must incorporate programs and satisfaction incentives relevant for these individual faculty members as they go through the innovation, adoption, concerns, and perceptions. Hall and Hoare 2001, Gatro 2011. Next, in the methodology of procedure, the method of procedure, you'll see these 5 headings. Design of study. A quantitative research design will be applied to examine the relationships among the variables. Hypotheses in the study rely on the research to be confirmed through quantitative methodology. The independent or the cause variable and the dependent or the effect variable are collected by way of numerical data for relational analysis. The independent variables are demographics related to personal, academic, and technographic factors, such as you've seen prior. With the dependent variable is the instructor's most extreme stage or stages of concern, as will be evaluated using the SOQ, or the Stages of Concern questionnaire. The specific number of participants in the selection of participants will be determined using Cochrane's sample size formula. Cochrane's formula allows one to use variability, p being 0.5, as the size of the sample is calculated for the section that generally produces a larger sample size than the mean will calculate, according to Cochrane. The goal for number of participants will be 150. The survey will be sent to all the individuals who meet the criteria outlined. The statistical package for the Social Sciences, or SPSS, version 25 will be applied for the data analysis. The survey will be available to the participants through Qualtrics 2020. Data collection. The electronic data gathering will serve as an inexpensive, secure, and speedy approach to conducting the survey. Successful delivery to a particular email is easily monitored, thus invalid addresses will be deleted from future reminders. And so those who are designated will receive a hyperlink to the survey. As data collection concludes, the researcher will download the data from Qualtrics as a comma-separated file, or a .csv, into an Excel file, and then will upload all relevant data into the SPSS 25.0 version for analysis. There will be 2 follow-up emails sent after the initial email as reminders to faculty, if needed. If response rates need improvement, that is, reminder emails will be sent out every week until the data collection interval is closed, and that will be in 2 weeks prior to the initial. Data analysis will be conducted following the recommendations of Hall and Hoare. Reflection, making use of the SOQ and the SOC, the study of the stages of concern questionnaire and the stages of concern of faculty will be the primary goals to figure these out. In order to keep data organized, a spreadsheet will be used to include these participants and their relationship or their relation to the survey's questions. Raw data for the individual will then be converted to the stages of concern information, including totals from the Likert scale. Analysis of variance, or ANOVA, and descriptive statistics will gather dependent variables to satisfy the proposed purpose questions in this study, dependent variables of the participants' most intense stage of concern based on the calculations from the stage of concern questionnaire. As a reminder, the independent variables are personal, academic, and technographic in relation to the use of the innovation change. To address research questions 1 through 4, descriptive research and ANOVAs will be conducted using SPSS. The dependent variables will be obtained from each participant's concerned responses as gauged by the questionnaire. The independent variables will be individual, academic, and technographic, demographic, mean, standard deviations, frequencies, stepwise regressions, and percentages will be employed to describe faculty descriptions along with their LMS adoption concerns. The program from the SOQ manual will assist the researcher in tallying the data from the SOQ and will construct both singular and group summaries using the SOC. Based on the directions from the manual, scoring the questionnaires will be done to verify computer output. Using percentile scores, the raw scores for each stage of concern will be done to determine the most intense and least intense stage of concern for faculty in the analysis, ending with plotting graphs display depictions of the mean scores for faculty. In addition, the concerns of faculty will be developed by building reports with the concerned stage. These responses will be statistically tested using Pearson's correlation coefficient and stepwise regression to analyze these research questions. The researcher will explore stepwise regression procedures to showcase possible analytic parameters for the defined stage of concerns, resulting in uncovering potential predictive variables. Stepwise regression is a variable selection format that involves a series of steps designed to find the most useful variables to include a stepwise regression model. The basis for selection could either be choosing a variable that satisfies the criterion or removing a variable that satisfies the criterion at least. For a relationship of an independent variable to be considered significant, one can say with a 95% certainty that there will be actual differences in the two relationships or observations analyzed. The analysis may change once this researcher gets further into analyzing the data. Limitations. The study will be based on the following limitations. The intended participants of this study were aware of the researcher's identity, and an undetermined number were aware of the researcher's dissertation project or subject. In higher education, institutions may use various LMS platforms that may impact the level of instructors' involvement, course delivery, and perception. Every reasonable precaution was taken to ensure the anonymity of the participants, and there is a limit to faculty concerns as the SOQ determines. The questionnaire does not allow respondents the opportunity to make supplementary comments. The limitations for this study will be instructors who teach online courses outside of the small regional university in Texas will not be invited to participate in this study. This study examined the concerns of faculty and adjuncts toward teaching online courses. The attitudes of full-time faculty will likely influence their voting on initiatives for the creation and expansion of online programs, as well as their willingness to teach these online courses. So, what are my assumptions for this study? Faculty will respond genuinely to this survey. The decision to adopt an LMS, going from eCollege to Brightspace, or Pearson eCollege to Brightspace D2L, has been made by the university. Adopting an LMS brings ample concerns to faculty, Therefore, it is appropriate to measure using this instrument. The variables used are influential concerns that will be identified and defined properly, and the analysis of the most intense stage of faculty concerns represents their concerns about adopting a new LMS. Thank you. Any questions?